We are live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Ultimate Guide to Spooky Empire 2015, episode 5, I believe. I think we're on episode 5. The last episode we did was on costuming, and we decided to make it a two-parter because the last time we went like 2 hours, and like there's still stuff we haven't covered. There's so much going on when it comes to costuming. Let's meet who we've got this evening. We have got John. Wait, I can click over. Is it letting me click over? There we go. Oh.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, John.
I'm a sexy kid. Got it.
We got Robby back with us. Hi, Robby.
Hi.
And we have a special guest from the Geeks of Comedy. We got Patty Hawkins with us.
Woo.
With Satan. Do we have Satan with us?
Hello. Whoops.
You know what? Because Satan will probably get some questions tonight, so that's actually good to know.
Probably. He'll be in reserve.
Okay. Before we got started, I wanted to show you guys. Let's see if actually I get the screen share going. I wanted to show you just so you guys know who we're talking to. I gotta get faster with this. But yes, the costumes of the people we are talking to this evening. So is that coming through okay?
See.
Yes.
Very
okay.
good.
So there we go. See, there's Robby there. There's Robby with her Cthulhu cultist. And see, check that out. The Abominable Dr. Fives. There's Patrick there.
Nice.
Amazing costume. I mean, he had the details and everything. So awesome. Omega Man. There's Patrick again. We like Omega Man. And oh my God, the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I literally squeed when I saw this. This was absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then of course we got John as the male Carrie. And of course we got his Beetlejuice. What he's known for, absolutely amazing. And check that out, the costume contest winner. Now, is it just Tin Man, or did we have like a specific name for Tin Man?
No, it's just Tin Man.
Tin Man, okay. But there we go. So there's, just so you know who we're talking to, and so you know they know what they're talking about. Yes, but costuming is going to be a big thing at Spooky Empire. I hope you guys caught the last episode. I will link it down here. I want you guys to catch the last episode because there's a lot that we go over. First thing I wanted to talk about, let's see, what was it? Oh, yes, you guys can ask questions. If you look up here, well, I'm not even, like, pointing right, am I? Okay, up here somewhere, where's my finger? There's my finger. Yeah, up here there should be, like, icons, and if you click the little grid, you will see 2 things. You will see the Q&A, which you can click that and submit a question. We've already got a few questions that came in. And then you've also see the Showcase app. Now, the Showcase app, and I figured this out last week, what it does is shows the links to things that we're talking about. For example, if you click the Showcase thing, you'll see Spooky Empire. So if you actually just want to click over to Spooky Empire from this webcast, you can do that. The other thing, there's another thing in the Showcase that we will be talking about momentarily now that I look at these questions. Actually, I'm going to jump around a little bit in the format we had going, but one of the questions here, let's see. From James, where in Central Florida, where is it? Where in Central Florida is there to get cosplay stuff that you recommend? Funny you should mention that, James. Robby is a good one to answer this. She actually turned me on to a place called Embellish FX, and if you click the Showcase app, you'll see the link to Embellish FX in there. But Robby, tell us about Embellish FX.
Well, Embellish FX really is probably my favorite store in the whole of Orlando, because not only does it have like costuming things, I just recently started to sew, so for a long time I was just trying to find pieces that I can add on to, and so it has good costuming pieces that you can add on to, and not like the quality that you see in other stores, and it's definitely not ripping you off, which that was a great thing. Another reason it's great, it has special effects makeup, all sorts of things. They have gel foam, they carry Ben Nye, they carry Maron, they carry all of those brands that you know are going to be, good quality and what you need for costuming. Lately, recently,
Ben Nye, Wolf FX. Yep, I bought it there.
all sorts of stage
Yep.
blood. They have masks. They have wigs. They have just anything you can probably imagine to do something not super professional, even though you can make it look professional. And actually, they do sell some professional things like watermelon and some other products that they're bringing in. My favorite thing in the whole store is, of course, Warbler, because Warbler is awesome, and you can use it for so many things. The thermoplastic that you can make all sorts of masks and props out of. I'm a big supporter of local business, so I much rather.
Absolutely.
He sells the stuff for the same price as you would get it online, and I much rather go over there and
actually
he
see it
sells them
yourself.
by see it yourself. And the Warbler he sells by the square inch, which is awesome because you can buy like a piece like this big, and whatever, it'll cost you a few bucks if you want to just try it out. So that's another plus. And then of course local business.
Oh, absolutely. Now, don't they have, like, if I remember correctly, they have classes and stuff like that, don't they? Because I've always wanted to work with Warbler, and I remember they had, like, a workshop, and it was, like, a free workshop, wasn't it?
It is, yes. And actually, he's working right now with JD, see if they can bring, he, meaning Ben, the owner, Ben and Tim, they're working on getting JD in there to do some special effects makeup classes before Halloween. So that would be great, if anybody wanted to go in there. And the classes are free, which is great. Limited seating, though, so they don't have a lot of space.
Oh, yeah, so of course you have to sign up first, because these do go pretty quick, and they are pretty popular.
Yes. Oh, and last thing, they have a rewards program. So you can go in there and you sign up with your email or your phone number, and every time you go in, you earn points. And I'll tell you, I mean, I go there a lot, so I definitely get good discounts.
Oh, that's really awesome. Now, wait, where in Orlando is this? It's like I know where it is, but I can't tell people where it is. I'm not good at it.
I think it's called College Park. It's Edgewater Drive, and it's Edgewater Drive in like Princeton area. So back there.
It's a neat little area too, actually.
Yeah, very nice. Yes.
Very, 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 very hipstery, but not in the bad way necessarily.
No, definitely.
Satan's hitch of the ride.
Yeah.
But no, I've actually gone, and like we said in the last cast, if you're actually going to be doing special effects makeup, don't buy the stuff from like Party City or whatever. I mean, like I said, Ben Nye, they got all sorts of color wheels and whatnot, and I got this from Embellish, and it was a really good price. They've got
totally. They sell Krylon too. You see gel foam
brushes, and I mean Wolf FX,
Yeah, totally. They sell NYX brushes too, I think.
Yep, and Ben Nye blood and stuff. And not only do they have that, and like she said, they have wigs, for example. I'm a big wig nut, which we will get to in a moment. But they actually have, especially for women, the fake eyelashes. And if you do any sort of female costume, and they don't have like the stuff you get at, say, Ulta or Walgreens or whatever. No, these are like professional, like Krylon has them, which are my favorite, and the theatrical high-end stuff, which for like great prices. I absolutely love this place. Yeah. So, like I said,
actually,
click the showcase app. I mean, I can't.
Recently, when I went there, he had brought some new prosthetic pieces. So he's got ears. He's got ears, noses, foreheads, and those sorts of things and he knows how to apply it, which is great because he can teach you how to do it, and he sells all the products. I mean, you really can't ask for anything better.
No, that's
maybe
really
some wine or something.
Oh, well, I mean, how long has this place been open?
I want to say like 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, so it's not
crazy
really
long. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, Patrick, I mean, where have you gotten your stuff that you've done for your costumes?
I am an absolute cheap scavenger.
As are most of us at Spooky.
Yeah, so it's a certain thing right off the bat is I'll hit all the thrift stores in the area. I've got a Salvation Army from me right around the corner. I'll hit that. Goodwill. That's always gonna be my first target for just gear wise as it is. Then maybe if I want to window shop, I'll go to Etsy. Good stuff.
That's good. That's a good one. I didn't mention that. You're right.
Yeah, good stuff, but you're gonna pay for it.
It's all
but
custom stuff.
Sometimes you need to. Sometimes you're gonna need to. Then you just got the random. Sometimes you'll randomly search eBay and even Amazon. Again, depending on what you're doing, I mean, you might not need top shelf items. You can get away with a Hong Kong lycra suit or something to that effect. It all depends on what you're going for. Certainly more for the superhero comic booky stuff, I can kind of go overseas. But the trick to that is you'll find good stuff at cheap prices, but you got to shop early.
That's very true.
Because they do absolute snail mail. You know, it's like they tie it to a tortoise and they let it loose at sea and they hope it makes it to the United States.
You're not even kidding. Oh my god.
I mean, I can't tell you how much I found great stuff. Oh, this is perfect and it's dirt cheap and it's gonna take 8 to 12 weeks for delivery.
Yep.
So by all means,
I'm dealing with that issue right now from the UK. I'm dealing with that issue getting a pair of earrings or something. So yep.
Oh, it is so wonderful. So yeah, to all the readers, like I said, if you're on the fence, by all means, pick something right now, formulate a plan, start shopping now, because you could definitely save in the long term if you find something you love and order it now. It might just get here just in time. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
And if you're lucky, you'll get it in the right size.
That's also a very good point. If you shop overseas, the sizes are very, very different. I mean, from the UK to, you know, Singapore to anywhere, you know, look at the country you're getting it from. China, I mean, I've had experience with this. Their sizes are completely different than ours, and regardless of what you are in American, even if you translate it, it still won't be right. You still need to go bigger because their sizes run super, super small.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
if you ever need to choose,
by my
choose
standards.
bigger.
And I'm a little teeny man.
With a teeny Satan on his head.
But by the same token, though, that's kind of great because for my stature, it's hard for me to find clothing, costuming, or otherwise in the United States that fits my dimensions. And I do find this for my height is for somebody that weighs 400 pounds. So, and I'm it's like Veruca Salt. It's like Veruca Salt. It's like Beauregard like grew up and she's still a blueberry or something. But yeah, I found my prisoner jacket, which I've been looking for decades. I found that through a little South Korean, you know, clothing vendor. Like I said, I just had to wait about 8 weeks to get it. But for $15, it was great.
Oh, can't go wrong there, man. That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Actually, the next topic I wanted to cover, you know, I'm going to hand this off to John for a second to talk about it because there's something I wanted to grab, a little show and tell. But how accessories make or break a costume, and how like just something small that you pair with the costume can really bring it to the next level. And John, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Maybe. I think so. Am I
Maybe.
particular I'm supposed to bring up?
Well, just for example, I mean, I'm gonna go get the apple from my Evil Queen costume.
Ah,
So
okay.
Yeah, little things like that.
So yeah, it is absolutely
You're back.
crucial to accessories. It's beyond just getting the hair, the makeup, the base outfit done. When she talks about her Evil Queen, of course, she brings the apple. When we built the governor from The Walking Dead, everything down to the way he presents his costume. In the series and in the comics, he wears a bracelet that's a penny. We made a penny bracelet. He has a key around his neck. We put a key on the when we talk about things like my Beetlejuice, we watched that damn movie repeat for weeks and weeks. And the scene that we use for the version I do with the giant carousel hat is all of 18 seconds long, and Michael Keaton's only in it for about 5 or 6 seconds. But if you rewatch the scene, you'll notice it's the first appearance of Jack Skellington at the top. It has the bat symbol all over it. Even the monsters that we use are molded, and half the monsters aren't even seen other than their shadows. So we have to make up to our best what they're going to look like. Wait, I'm moving.
Oh, no, go right ahead. I'll take it for a second here. Okay.
Nope,
well,
we're
while
here.
he's doing that,
See?
yeah, while
That's
he's,
the
oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
Jack Skellington. Even these damn little fucking monster things. Can you see those back there?
Yes.
The only reason we could make those
I love that
monsters
costume.
is because the guy who played Otho used to have a photo blog before he died, and he had posted
He's
the
dead?
photos. Yeah, I know, it's sad, right?
I honestly didn't know.
Okay. But, go ahead.
So yeah, words.
Okay. Fine, I will jump in here. Okay, this is an example, is my Evil Queen apple. You know, there's people that do Evil Queen, and that's all well and good. I actually did this, and this was Michael's thing. It was like $1, what the fruit was like $1. And I sat there with a candle, just dripped wax on it, and then just painted it green, you know? It was like a total of like $4, and it's like, this is something custom that you can't find anywhere. You know, people love the hell out of this thing. Next thing, I want to try to put like lights in it or something like that. But yeah, it's just like little accessories like that. I mean, if you do, you know, Jason and say carrying around Mrs. Voorhees' sweater, you know, it's like, you know, adding little extra things like that.
Some details, right? What is that?
What's Patrick?
That's cool.
Oh,
my God.
perfect example. Patrick, by all means, jump in.
Yeah, this
Awesome.
is it's my press pass for my Kolchak the Night Stalker thing. And this is actually a reprint from one of them that he actually... Well, again, fan sites are absolutely great. For every horror movie especially, you will find a super uber mega fan that has everything so intrinsically detailed. And this was one of them that he actually used in the series. He used multiple ones, but this is the one I found that was easiest to make a copy of. Just do a photostat to it. But yeah, if you can, I'll send you a picture of my Kolchak outfit. But I had the 70s little Instamatic camera. I went and I got the big clunky handheld, you know, tape recorder. But yeah, it's those little tiny details. And what made people go squee was when, oh, can I pose for a picture? Yes. And then I whipped out the wooden crucifix and held it out like he did the promotional shots.
Exactly.
The
Super
Gods
fans
and
go
Monsters-
nuts over that.
The Gods and Monsters guys went like, oh my God, he's got everything, yeah, you know. But yeah,
That's awesome.
it's so simple for these little accessories, little props, little trinkets as it is. But that's not the icing on the cake. Those are the flowers on the cake.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So when you think about your character, think about like little details like that. Going back to Beetlejuice for a second, I mean, if you're doing, let's say, Lydia, and they have the guide for the newly deceased, and when you know, when you see them with that, you're like, oh my God, you know, things like that. It's just that little thing that puts it right over the top. Okay, we have got other. Oh wow, we are getting questions in. I'm actually very surprised.
Ah.
Okay. This is awesome.
Sorry.
No, I'm loving this
I
Q&A
want to interrupt
aspect.
you.
Yes.
I totally want to interrupt you.
Oh, okay.
So when we talk about accessories, especially if you're doing a series character that appears in multiple films or TV shows, adding in weird details from any part of it is absolutely phenomenal. For those who didn't see it, this weekend we debuted our Bender, the giant robot from Futurama.
At Tampa Bay Comic Con. Yep.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, so people had more love for Lucy Liu, which we had inside of his chest, than they actually had for a 10-foot Bender. So
That's awesome.
wait, so Bender's face, Bender's body. Can we see Lucy Liu? Lucy
We
Liu.
can see Lucy. Yeah,
Lucy,
there she
yeah.
is.
Nice. That's so awesome.
People had more love for a foam hand-cut Lucy Liu that barely made an appearance than they did for a 10-fucking-foot Bender. It was very strange.
But that's
Okay.
exactly it. You'll get somebody on one level, be like, oh wow, they got an XYZ costume. But when
Yeah.
you start these layers, they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and
It separates the fanboy from the costumer generic.
and if you and for me as a cosplayer, if I can get someone who's a fan of whatever I am, if I can get them to that fangasm, which is like, oh my God, you even got that.
Yep.
That's what it is.
And that's the sweet spot right there. That literally is the sweet spot.
Absolutely.
Okay.
When I do Joe Chill and the guy who killed Batman's parents, and I have the bloody pearl.
Wait, what? Batman's parents died?
Yeah, Batman's parents. Yeah. Yeah, when I do the mugger that killed Batman's parents, I have the bloody pearls, and that's so you said. I said, wait, yeah, are you the mugger? Oh my God, the pearls! Blah! You know.
Yeah, and then their head just explodes, and it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
That's a really dark costume. Like,
Isn't it
sadly.
beautiful?
I know, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of that, and I'm jealous of your little child kidnapper.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a group effort, and I'm the first one to always say I come up that wow, it'd be cool to do this, and I seek out like friends, and that's something else. That's something else too. To anyone out there, try it yourself, but don't be afraid to ask for help.
Oh God, yes.
You know, and again too, it's like if you got friends that like to sew, or whatever, be a model for their work. You know, if they're cool with it. But above and beyond all else, never ever ever take full credit for something. If somebody goes, "Wow, did you sew that yourself?" It's like, I got a really good friend of mine that sewed this for me. You know,
Yeah.
My friend Jessica sewed that for me. My friend Graham did my makeup, etc., etc. Don't be a diva.
Of course. No, you gotta credit everyone. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
That is a huge, huge thing, and that's actually something we will get to in a moment. Not to interrupt you guys here, but Here we go. Let's see. Pandora asked, hey, I know you guys talked about wigs briefly in your last episode. Is there a difference between lace front and regular wigs? This is actually a really good one because, yes, there is. Lace fronts are becoming much more popular. When I first started like costuming like 10 years ago or whatever, you pretty much all you had was like regular hairline wigs. Wait,
I think two of our people ran to go get their wigs.
Oh my God! Okay, no. There we go. All right, now let's show John. Here we go. This is a perfect example. That's a regular hairline wig, right?
So it has.
Oh, is that the lace front?
No, this is not lace front. This is
okay. That's regular.
Hair. So you can see where the head and the hair are completely distinctly separate items.
Yes.
Like a toy lion.
That's actually a very good point. Actually, that's the Carrie wig, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
Goodness.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. I mean, lace front basically, and that's usually what I use for a lot of my costumes. It's a little more expensive, but it pretty much has your hairline that looks like it's blended in, so it really does look like actual hair. It is a little more expensive, but it does make all the difference. And Robby, what are you doing?
My phone's dying.
Exploding.
I wasn't prepared for this one.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, but yes, go ahead.
When you talk about lace front versus regular, one, lace front is absolutely more expensive, but it becomes crucial to know. Well, it's worth it only if you're going to see the front. So lace front is literally the lace is either glued to the face or it is makeup to help cover it to do a blend line. If you're not going to see this part of your wig, like the front inch
yeah, like
of
if
your
you have
wig,
bangs, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, that. Like with this wig, I wear a giant hat. You never see the top part of my wig. Most of the wigs I wear are not lace front because I usually have some form of headpiece on. Mm-hmm. But if you are doing something that does not need to see that, absolutely cheap out on it. Buy a regular. There's no reason to spend the money and the time applying a lace front if no one's ever going to see it in any way at any point.
That's a very good point.
Buying cheap wigs never stop the anime kids.
No, God no.
That's true. If you get a lace front pink wig, I mean that's really not going to make a difference. No one's really going to think that's your hair anyway. But there's also synthetic hair as to human hair. Ah, yes, the wig cap. The wig cap is also very important as well. And what are you putting on now?
My wig. It was just itchy without the wig cap.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, there's also synthetic hair as opposed to human hair. Human hair you can actually style and you can apply heat to it and stuff like that. They are very expensive, unfortunately. But if you want a wig to last years and years and years and years, and you plan on styling it over and over and over, and it's going to be subject to the elements, look into a human hair wig. They're a little more expensive, but they're worth it. Normally, I mean, synthetic will work just fine as long as you don't try to style it.
I think that's a choice that's going to be governed by the proportion of how important that character's hair is to the character.
That's very true.
Like if you're gonna do David Bowie from Labyrinth, then yeah, you gotta go super mega deluxe. You know, this was cut off of David Bowie's actual hair. You know, for like $1,000 type of wig. That's the investment you want to do. Bowie. Yeah.
There we go.
Whereas when I do the second Doctor Who, I just get a Beetle wig and I just like trim it back a little bit. I'm good to go. You know, I can get those for less than $10.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so that's absolutely a great point though. Is if you are doing a hairstyle that is a natural human hairstyle, and you want it to look authentic, human hair wigs are great to go.
Yes.
If you're doing anime characters, which have the giant plasticized shapes and bubbles and shit.
Yeah.
Human hair does not function that way. There's a reason why you bought a wig that was cheap and plastic. So you don't need to go expensive on human hair wigs that are dyed pink to just buy a cheap $10 pink wig and super shit that out.
Yeah, also hair pieces are really good. So if you don't need an actual full head of hair, like I'm working on a project now that I'm not going to need all that hair, so I bought 3 hair extensions on eBay for like $6 each, free shipping, and they're actually pretty, really. I mean, they're really good. So all I'm gonna do is just glue it onto what I'm working on, and that should work. Like you don't
Robby,
need a whole piece. Yeah. Yes.
Total suggestion for you, even cheaper. Go to Sally's Beauty Supply.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Go to the weave section and buy Kankalon. I think it's called. Kanklon.
Yeah, Kane. I know what you're talking about.
I can't pronounce it. It is.
I can't pronounce it either.
for 3 yards of synthetic hair.
Oh wow, wow, that's
So
awesome.
the lion mane we made for the Wizard of Oz stuff is 4 bundles of Kankalan hair. It cost us $16 total to make that wig.
Wow, that's
and
awesome.
that's 3 human heads.
I hope you guys are taking these tips, man. This is good stuff right here.
No, Sally's is Sally's is well known for Sally's is a great resource for cosplayers, drag queens, and prostitutes.
You sound like you know a little bit about that. So which? Never mind.
Because I've been in a Sally's with all 3. If you're
I wasn't gonna ask, but okay.
The devil made me do it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We've got a question from. Let's take Mike's question. And Mike, sorry, the whole thing was full. Hi all. So for the noobs out there, what do you recommend as a costume for first timers? That's actually a good one. Anyone
a costume for first timers?
Yeah, a costume for first timers.
If we're gonna do, we're talking like first time spooky, I'd say try a ghoul zombie.
Zombies usually pretty standard. That's pretty easy and something you can get creative with. That's very true.
Yeah.
John, what do you think?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I always vote to go with something that you know. So if you are going to be putting on a costume and presenting a character to the world around you, it is in your best interest to do a character, 1, that is your style and type, 2, that you know enough because they're going to ask you to do voices and lines from the movie and pose in certain ways that are directly from the TV show, the movie, the comic. They're going to want all of these things out of you, and if you barely know the character, you might want to stay away from that at first. Do something you know, and also do something that's comfortable. Don't put yourself into like a Mecha Power Ranger Zoid suit on your first time out when you've never experienced wearing 40 pounds of costuming on at one time. Do something that you know you can move around in comfortably and that you're really familiar, and also love the character.
Yeah,
always.
That's actually a really great tip there. Is actually doing something comfortable, but.
Yeah, the character. I agree with John though. That's the first precept I think of all cosplay. The character must come first, and if you do not have passion for that character, then I think you're doing a false cosplay, in my opinion.
Well, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that I would think actually if you don't find a character that you're passionate about, or you don't have it down, maybe come up with a unique character or something of your own, so that way you don't have to be to those standards of what other people are expecting you to be or whatever. So come up with something creative, mash up some stuff that you like, pick from things, even in like things in nature or whatever, that might like inspire you to do something creative.
Yeah. And I just want to stress the whole comfort level thing, because I can't tell you the biggest mistakes I made, because it's when you first start costuming and you see like these idols of yours do these amazing ensembles, you want to emulate that, and it's like, okay, no, you gotta walk, you gotta crawl before you can walk, so it's a matter of finding something comfortable, so you gotta work your way up to it. It really is a whole step ladder, and I can't tell you, like heels and balancing wings and just all sorts of, go comfortable first, work your way up to it. Man, I've made some huge mistakes there, man. All right, let me let's see what else we got here. Okay, Jennifer Pat. Let's see, what has been a costume first aid lifesaver when a quick wardrobe repair was needed? Anything unique, unconventional besides safety pins?
Glue gun. Glue gun.
Glue gun, super glue.
I carry super glue, safety pins, and a needle and thread with me on every convention. They're in one of my many hidden pockets, and they will save every detail, because you think that super glue is going to ruin a stitch or whatever. I'd rather have a slight glue line than have my crotch hanging open while kids are at crotch height hugging me during photos.
That's important, man. That's real important.
Yeah, it is.
Patrick, what about you?
Yeah, the usual suspects try to have a little bit of a repair kit. Again, I'm a man, so duct tape I think is very important. And, you know, but the neat thing is that duct tape now comes in so many different colors. You can find a duct tape which can be repairable for whatever your cosplay is at that time. And again, assuming of course you're going for something extreme or whatever. When it comes to horror stuff, I go more with a regular clothes sort of character. Not so much anything monstrous or anything to that effect. In which case, yeah, you want a little touch-up makeup, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. That was a quick one. Let's see. Okay. Oh, this is going to be a good discussion one here. Let's see. Shay asks, can you tell me what CosFame is, and does it have anything to do with Spooky Empire? Patrick, I'm going to hand this one to you real quick.
Oh.
CosFame?
I think basically what this goes in line with the whole costuming for fun as opposed to fame.
Well, okay,
it's an easy trap to fall into. I mean, especially for those starting out.
If you're in this to get famous, then I have a bridge I'd like to sell you. Seriously, the internet fame was the new fool's gold like a decade ago, and again, I understand it. There are some people that made a niche for themselves and everything on else, and
they really are the exception as opposed to the rule.
But understand this: if you want to get famous, then you need to get famous for yourself, and you're talking about cosplayers are doing characters that are owned by different companies and people and things like that. So in order, if you want to get yourself famous, then you got to put yourself ahead of the character. Then you put yourself ahead of the character, then you stop cosplaying. You are trying to create a brand of yourself. So be honest. If you're in this for some type of recognition beyond it, then just be honest and just go ahead and put yourself out and don't pretend. In other words, don't be chasing after popular characters because you wear it well. I mean, okay, so you can do Harley super uber hot or whatever, but do you have any love for the character, or is it just because it's the popular choice?
Look at every other slut without imagination.
And we'll be seeing lots of Harleys and lots of Deadpools next year.
Oh, yeah. And okay, well, John, what were you saying?
Oh, just Harley and Deadpool, like you said, seem to be the go-to costume for people who have nothing else to do. I know several people who do both of them very well, but for every one person who does a character really well, there are 1,000 that just slap it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's absolutely correct. If you are putting on a costume solely for clickbait, then you've got a serious...
That's a good way to put it, clickbait.
And it's absolutely the way it is. You've got a serious issue. There's a difference between selling yourself on websites like Tumblr and that weird one that has all the things that you make me look at, Demi. What is that one?
Which one?
Periscope?
Periscope?
No.
I love everyone on Periscope. I don't force everyone on Periscope.
No, the one with the little robot and the antenna.
Oh, Reddit!
Reddit.
Reddit.
Yeah.
There's a
Reddit's
difference
awesome.
between yourself on Reddit and Tumblr as opposed to trying to actively get on those stupid cosplay TV shows. Because there's nothing good that comes from being a cosplay model or one of those cosplay TV show girls. One, they don't make their shit. Two, they don't really look good in their shit. But, you know, whatever.
And again, they've already maxed out. They're done. They hit the wall. This is the biggest thing about people who are going into this. I want to say, what is the end game for this?
That is my biggest question.
That's what I think about too. Yeah.
When are you gonna parlay this into something else? And that's one thing I haven't really seen. I haven't seen them diversify themselves or move into their own brand. They seem to have hit a certain level, and it's like they've maxed out. They're not doing anything.
As opposed to people like us that we like the costume, we actually like to make our things and do all that. That for us, my end game is to, you know, up my game, learn something new, do something more creative, do something original. Like that's my end game, because I honestly didn't even know about cosplay or cosfame until I started going to conventions, really, because I was just thinking, oh my god, the costumes are gonna be awesome and people are like so into the hobby, and it turns out it's not so much like that. And I mean, that for me as a costumer, that's my end game. Like I just want to beat myself next time.
Yeah, don't whoever asked the question, don't try to be famous. Just be good. And if you are good,
then everything will come to you.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I want to touch on as far as that's concerned is how easy it is to fall into that mindset without realizing it. Because when you put on a costume and you go to a convention, you're going to get paparazzi. You're going to get people taking your picture. And it's an adrenaline rush. I mean, we can all admit, that when we get crowded around by, like, cameras, and the cameras, I mean, yeah, that's a hell of an ego booster.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's real easy to fall into, the ego trap, where it's like, oh, well, I'm somebody. Look at all these people taking my picture, and look at all these people that, oh, look, I was on Cosplay Hottie of the Week, whatever website. So it's real easy for your ego to go, psh, and then it gets all, like, completely out of control. So, I mean, one of the biggest things I recommend to anyone that's new to costuming, try to keep your ego in check. Try to remember why you're doing this, because it's really easy to get lost along your way, and all of a sudden you think that you become this D-list celebrity mindset. You get into this celebrity mindset, and you think you're somebody, and you get these entitlement issues. And then we've all seen it happen, hundreds and hundreds of times. And you're going to get let down really, really quick, unfortunately, unless you keep your ego in check.
Yeah, especially in this era, everybody has, like, short attention span. So that celebrity that you think you're going to be is going to last like 5 seconds, and then it's going to hit you in the face. Then you're going to be gone again until
major insecurity issues. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is fun, and so yeah, cause fun, not cause fame. There we go. If we're gonna go with the whole cosplay word play. Okay. The other thing, let's see. Oh, okay. Here's a good one, actually. Let's see. Jennifer, can you tell me more about what to expect with the costume contest? Also, what have been some of your most favorite costumes for past contests? Well, it's interesting that you ask that, because we've got 2 of the winners right here.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
I'm gonna go take a pee while, like, the winners.
Let's talk about some egos. Now, John has placed, is it twice now?
At Spooky?
Yes.
Twice, yeah.
Twice, yes. And I think Robby's placed once, am I right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And, to be fair, actually, I mean, it was a while ago, but 2007 I placed. My daughter and I actually did the Wicked Witches of the East End West. I had a house that was sitting out my feet. Yeah, my feet were sitting out from.
You should find some pictures of that.
There's a couple around somewhere. I'll have to find them, but yeah, so whatever. Old school. Anyway. OG. Okay, so all right. You know what, Robby? Let me give you this one. What can people expect with the costume contest?
Well, you can expect to stand around and wait for a long time. So if you make sure that you can,
that's a good point. Your Sunday's gone
a little bit. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. You can expect to make sure that you sign up early, because it does fill up fast. They only have so many spots, and I'll tell you, bring your game, because you're gonna see some serious shit. Basically, I mean, it's really, you really have to put an effort into your costume. Like, don't expect to do just whatever and go
show up as Harley Quinn and think you're gonna win, because it doesn't work that way.
Absolutely. Be creative, be original. The Dark Oz, I have to say, is one of my favorite group costumes. Like, you guys were just phenomenal.
Yeah. And well, I mean, the Plague Doctors are nothing to sneeze at either, but.
Oh no, yeah, but I'm admiring, his, that idea was just so awesome and so original, and the way they executed it was just amazing, and they totally deserve to win. And that's the kind of shit you want to see. You want to see the kind of shit you can see on TV.
Oh yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I've seen costumes between, I mean, like I said, you've got the guys that go up there with the big wings. You've seen huge animatronics, guys on stilts.
Oh,
yeah. It's mind-blowing, some of the costumes that we've seen in the costume contest. The special effects makeup. And, I mean, some people go up with, like, skits. And this is not one of the, if you watch stuff like Heroes of Cosplay, it's not a contest like that. So, I mean, you don't have to have a skit. You don't have to have a long intro. It's nothing necessarily like that. But it is a great way to see some of the great showcased costumes that you've probably seen around all weekend. For example, like John's Beetlejuice.
I will say this much.
Yeah.
It's totally okay to wear a costume at the convention and not be in the contest.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
That I have seen the past again as I never enter myself. I just don't for the main reason that I love playing the obscure characters and it's just not going to win. I prefer to zig
disagree,
around.
but go ahead.
I prefer to zig around the conventions and let people who appreciate me as opposed to walking up on stage and seeing 99% of the audience vacuous like what the fuck is he from? I don't know. But the thing is, though, when I've emceed costume contests or even judged them, I have seen people that I think just enter it because they think they're supposed to. And they're nervous about it. I have had people walk up on stage, and I always would go to everybody, okay, who are you and what are you dressed as today? And tell us about it. And they just don't want to say anything, just march on by or whatever. And some of them are very nice, beautiful costumes, but they get up on stage and they don't freak out about it. So please, by all means, if you want to enter the contest, fine. But do it because you want to, not because you think it's a weird obligation. Well, everybody else is. And by the same token,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
there are the types that will enter it no matter what because they want that moment in the sun. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Maybe you want everybody in the whole room to see you.
Like this guy here? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love you. I'm kidding.
But there are some people that I think that are up there, and I don't want to say they're wasting everybody's time, but yeah, they're wasting everybody's time.
No, agreed. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Some people.
Yeah, there's some people that have the same costume over and over and over every single year, and they enter every single time with the same costume, and it's like, okay, yeah, why?
Yeah, and you know what the judges are looking for. I mean, come on, the judges want to see things that they have categories that there's broken.
They want to be wowed.
Judging. They want to be wowed, and they want to see you, try to, have something not that everybody else has. That's the whole point of, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the one thing the one tip I can give anyone that wants to be in the costume contest, I mean, like has been said, your Sunday will be gone. So just expect to sit around a lot on Sunday and line up and just talk to the other contestants. Be hydrated, of course. Yes. The other thing is, when you are called on stage, and Patrick touched on this, which made me think of it, is when you go up, there's too many people that go up on stage, and just come right back down. Nobody can see anything. This is your moment to shine. I'm an introvert, and despite me doing these podcasts, I hate being in front of a crowd. Going up, and you're only up there for, let's say, 10, 15 seconds. You're a superstar at that point. You got the spotlight on you. Do a twirl. Do something in character. There were characters I saw, like a Samara walk up there, and then she was crawling around like she came out of the TV. You're the character there, so by all means, do something to engage the audience at that point. Don't just walk up and murmur and then walk off the stage, because then, that's not good. Nobody wants to see that. So, John, what do you have to add?
Well, I'm absolutely going to piggyback on your Sunday, especially at Spooky, is ruined.
Yes.
The last 2 conventions, they actually had a pre-judging, which starts 3 or 4 hours before the actual convention, the actual costume contest.
Yeah.
So you have to be in full costume several hours in advance to show and be able to discuss. This is a big time to wow the judges, because when they only get 15 seconds to see you, certain details get completely lost. So this is your chance. True. Know what you have, know what you've made, know what you haven't made. I think the biggest tip I can give is, if you have a costume that you are wearing and someone asks you, did you make that? Own up to what you made and what you didn't. Yes. I will happily tell anyone that listens the amount of sewing detail I put in. But if they look at the pair of pants that the character is wearing and say, well, those look store-bought, well, of course they are. I'm not going to make a pair of jeans that are basic blue denim when I can buy a pair of basic blue denim for half the price of making them. Mm-hmm. But I'm not also going to turn around and own it while the Levi patch is hanging off the fucking ass.
Yes.
When they do not do pre-judging, one of the biggest tips I can give you is, when you go on stage, show off to the crowd. They're going to cheer. You're going to get that ego boost. You're going to love it. But turn around and show off to your judges.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Don't forget the judges.
Yes. I can't tell you how many times.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying, I can't tell you. Several months ago, I was a judge, and it was a girl in a great anime costume, and she just loved prancing in front of the crowd. But when she completely ignored us, the judges. She when she was done with the crowd, she just walked on by us, didn't go to a fucking word. I was like, okay, there go your chances.
Here's my last tip for anybody who enters the costume contest. My Beetlejuice won grand prize at Spooky one year, I think 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The year before, a different version of that same Beetlejuice that was not as intricate.
Mm-hmm.
My current Beetlejuice, the hat spins. I have the giant hammers. The previous version, the hat didn't spin, and my hammers were the roll-ups, and it lost. Do not take a lose, regardless how amazing you know your costume is, because you can admit it to yourself that you know what you wore was amazing. And you can see that other people win with things that you can look at and say, that's not that great, that you can clearly see the seam lines, you can see they just painted it and it's not great. Don't take it as a failure on your part. Take it as a challenge to put your shit the next time.
Yeah.
Because if I wouldn't have lost the first year, I would have never had an even better version of the costume that I actually adore now, compared to I liked it, but I wish it had something else.
That's a great advice, John. I really like that.
See, I can be friendly and sweet.
No, well, no, but it's true. Because, you know, a lot of people feel
he took his Prozac today.
You know? Yeah.
I remember
defeated going up there and people being like, no, your costume sucks, you lost, and then you're like, oh, fuck it, you know, whatever, all this work I put into my costume already, you know, you kind of like learn to kind of like, but then you could take it and do what you did and just make it even that much better and fucking win the whole shit.
And people should not have the mentality like it's a sports thing where it's you against one other person and you lose. I mean,
no.
Yeah, that's it. But you're right though. A lot of people seem to have that mentality. Well, I didn't win. It's like there's only one winner. There's only one runner-up, or whatever it's two. And also, with the proliferation of cosplaying, and there's different types of judges. You could win. You could come in dead last at one convention. The next convention, you tweak it up a little bit, you'll come in first place. But it's all about. You might have a judge guy that's just all about makeup and nothing else. And if you have one glaring error, that fires off his autism, and he's like, no. You know, you might have a costuming person. You might have a person that doesn't care about it. You're wearing something that's their personal favorite. Ooh, I love Jason in space. That's my favorite of the Friday the 13th. You're a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. You want to hope that the judging committee is professional, but don't bet on it. They could be as mercurial as the people in the audience.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely a great point, though, is I'm going to give 3 really generically brief examples. The year that I lost as Beetlejuice, the judges on stage were all actresses and actors from Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 4, 5, 9, 12, I can't remember. The winning group was based off of a kid's TV show or something, but the judges even said when they announced it that they are all parents, new parents. Their kids are all between the ages of newborn and 10, and this is what they identify with right now. I've seen costume contests where the judges are all industry professionals, so they're makeup artists, they're costumers, they're production people, and they look more for the finished package of the costume that fits the convention. In most recent in Tampa Bay Comic-Con, the costume contest was hosted by the 501st Legion, which is for those of you who don't know, is a
very Star Wars.
Oh yeah, but it's a really specific Star Wars faction.
Yes.
And I know if the 501st is judging, I will not enter because they always go for armor. They like pieces, every convention I've ever been to where they judged, they like pieces that are heavy armor, that are intricate, that light up, that move, because that's what they do, and that's what they're into. You have to know your judges, and if you know what they are ahead of time, and it's clearly not what you're into, or clearly not what your costume's about, it's not a bad thing to step out. Because if you're so concerned with winning, and you think you could have a chance at losing, which is going to devastate you, because you wore a princess dress to an armor competition, drop it, move on. But it doesn't say anything against your costume.
Yeah, just never go into a contest thinking about winning. It's just go in, again, like almost like Chase After Fame. Don't go in to be a winner. Just go in there to be the best that you can with what you've got.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
It seems so trite of a thing to say, but it truly does go into it. Yeah, and with the 501st, yeah, John's absolutely right. And I tried to join the 501st, but I'm 5'5", and they said that I was too short for a stormtrooper. Now,
Sure.
there is an exemption for guys my height, but unfortunately, I did not have a long-lost twin sister that I could incestuously tongue kiss.
Yeah, the only other thing that... Oh, hello. Okay, the only other thing that I would recommend is if you are going to enter, don't enter to win. Don't go in with that competitive attitude. I mean, put it this way. If you go in to A, have fun, and B, just get to show off on stage, goof off a little bit. I mean, one of my favorite moments from the past couple years is not when, like, and there have been amazing costumes, don't get me wrong. There was a Jason that went on stage completely in character, and he just walked up to each one of the judges with just that menacing glare, and it's like even when they asked him to get off a stage, he just stood there. He was totally in character, and the audience loved it. It was hysterical. So go up and, show off, have a good time. I did my Lily Munster. I spun around with the cape and was like, wee, I got to spin. I'm happy. So if you go up with the mentality, it's like, look, I'm going to do 10 seconds. It's going to get on YouTube. I'm happy. Boom. You will have a much better time overall. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got that.
If you could create a pop with the crowd, that's more important.
Oh, hell yes.
Really what it is. Sometimes the winners might win on some technical prowess as it is, but they may not be very presentational. And I had some upset little girls, the one I emceed, they were like little ponies or whatever, and she was like, first time she did it, she was really upset, and I walked up to her, I said, look, you had a great moment out there. They're going to remember you. All that matters is have the crowd remember you. Don't worry about the judges. Just go on out there and do something. Now, don't do something cheese it out that's not in the character. Again, it all comes back to put the character.
Don't pull a TNA polling thing and, show off your butt. Don't do that nonsense. It's a family kid-friendly show. Don't do that stuff.
It's like, female Freddy Krueger shows on up and runs her blade across her cleavage and her boobs come
don't
out
do that.
almost. Yeah.
Have some class. Don't do that.
Part.
There's certain stages for that.
Yeah, with polls.
Save that for the burlesque guys,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Let's see. From Mike. Okay, we got 2 more questions, and then I know we're running a little long here. So Spooky is actually on Halloween this year. How do you think that will affect the quality of costumes? Good question. Robby, what do you think?
Well, I'm concerned more with attendance rather than the quality of costumes. I think that the people that will be there, because it is Halloween, they're going to put effort into it because it'll probably be the costume that they're wearing for the season. I don't know how people feel about it being that weekend. I'm sure that, I don't know, like I know there's a lot of people that have other plans. So, but I think the quality of costumes for the people that are going to be there, that are diehard and want to be there and want to celebrate the holiday, then they're going to be bringing it. Or at least I hope so.
Yeah, John, what do you think?
I don't have children, so that part of it doesn't really affect me, which I know was a huge issue. For me, Spooky is family for me. It is my second family. It is the convention that means the most to me out of all the ones I've ever been to. It's the one I look forward to most every year. So for those people, there's not going to be a change. I think in terms of quality of costumes, we're going to have to relax the rules that everybody has deep inside that says only good horror-themed costumes can be there, because now it's a Halloween event.
She's talking about me.
And I'm going to bite my tongue this year and not tear people apart for wearing Powerpuff Girl costumes at Spooky because it's a Halloween event, and I'm going to have to shut my mouth. However, if you are a fan of old-school gothness, on Halloween night, Voltaire is performing. So shut your mouth and show up and dance and act like a fool, and you're going to love it because I'm going to fucking piss myself when he's on stage.
Awesome.
Voltaire's another subject I'm going to go into for another episode when we start talking about the guests, because Voltaire's going to be a big one that I'm going to get into.
Why do we have to wait? Talk about him now. I'm already masturbating.
Well, you're just going to... What? Wait, what? No. Sexy Kitty masturbating. Another episode. Patrick, what do you think about the quality of costumes? I mean, what do you think about Mike's question?
Again, this is not a criticism against Spooky management. This is a wish. I wish we could do Spooky the weekend before Halloween weekend.
Oh, of
Because that
course.
way I could get all of
Agreed, yeah.
Spooky, and then I could get all of Halloween. Because I do like doing up the house, and I do like chasing the kids around, and I do like fingering them, saying,
That's true.
"You came here a second time," you know, and calling them out on all that bullshit.
Oh yeah, I'm an absolute terror in this neighborhood. I'm known.
Yes.
I mean, I paint red rub on the side of my house and blood.
I got a big sign on my door written in English and Spanish: "No costume, no candy."
Nice.
That's beautiful. Those are my favorite people.
Yeah. So go ahead, John.
Patty, your tagline to now read Patty fingers children.
Yes.
Well, considering his last costume at Mayhem, yeah, the child catcher, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, it's all connected, Patty.
But yeah, I see what you did there. You're a dirty bird, John.
You're not going to live that one down.
But I have to agree with John, though. Yeah, we're going to have to be a little tolerant because I know all of us, we're all pretty much dead set that a themed convention should have themed costumes. And yeah, I guess we're gonna see the adult Elsas and Frozens and all that stuff. And
That's going to be tough.
Oh boy. But
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. You get numb to it after a while.
At some point, you got to pick your battles.
But by the same token, though, I kept thinking, well, are the casuals really going to come to Spooky? Because everything else in the Orlando area is going to be doing Halloween stuff. So
That's true.
like, why are we going to this convention thing and have to fork over $34 when we go down on walk around?
That's true. No, that's actually.
And again, too,
okay, there it is.
And again, too, as I certainly learned a long time ago, we're talking about Halloween for people is, well, look at it this way. I wore a cosplay to a Halloween party once, and I'll never, ever do that again.
Oh, yeah. No.
Looked at me like I had
Mixing the two is a
lobsters.
totally different, yeah.
Look at me like a lobster's crawling on my ears, because Halloween parties, basically a guy takes an empty 12-pack box and puts it over his head. Hey, I'm Beer Man!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And that's not the same thing as what we do. That's totally
right,
not the
yeah.
same thing.
So I think she's right. I think the people who are going to be there at Spooky are going to be the hardcores, and there may be some random passerby. It is what it is. But I do wish it didn't force people to make a choice, though, between Spooky and what is probably their favorite holiday.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. There is a big debate about that whole issue on why Spooky actually landed on Halloween, and I don't think, and this is just my opinion, this is not an official statement of any kind. From what I understand, they didn't want to do it on Halloween. That's just how it happened to happen. Because I mean, they're also at the mercy of the scheduling of the different convention areas.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's not entirely. They don't just spin it and say, oh, it's going to be this weekend. There were a lot of other factors in play. So they didn't specifically do this just to make fans mad or whatever.
And it's not just.
It's not like that.
It's not just Spooky either. I found out that at Tampa there's like
4. There's like 4 conventions that weekend.
There's another show going on in Tampa. No, it's a show going on in Daytona, and they have Michael Biehn coming in for a screening of The Terminator, which the girls, by the way, who were trying to get me to buy a table for that didn't know who Michael Biehn was. We have the original Kyle Reese. We're like, the original? Like, so you mean Michael Biehn? And she was like, sure. And she didn't know. And also, if you're a Doctor Who fan like me, there's also Hurricane Who. So, and that's going on actual Halloween proper. So I may actually, I think I'm going to bounce. I'll spend all weekend at Spooky, and I think maybe Sunday morning I will be at Hurricane Who, but I'll end up back at Spooky that day. So I'm going to be bi-connell.
October is going to be nuts.
I like that, bi-connell.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the last question, and this is something I plan on talking about anyway, by Randy Pence. Let's see. It's good you guys mentioned the cameras. How about give some advice for newbies to act around photographers? Now, let me take this because I actually had something prepared for this. Give me a second. There are a number of professional photographers at Spooky, and wait. Share. Let's see. Where are we getting? Okay. There was an image I created. That coming through okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. It's tips from some of the professional photographers that attend Spooky Empire. Now, this right here, I asked a number of photographers that I know. First, we got Svein Kjartansen, SveinPhotography.com. I absolutely recommend him. The tip from him is be prepared, smile or don't smile, be in character when the costume is on. Think of the photographer as a huge cell phone selfie. Get your good side. Make sure you stay long enough for them to get a non-blurry shot. That's actually a really important one too, because I mean, if you only get one shot, you're not good if it's going to be a good. You're not sure if it's going to be a good one. Best tip for female posing: keep space between your arms and your sides. That's a whole angle thing, and that's the tip from professional modeling, and that's actually a really, really good one. And you have to forgive me if I don't pronounce her name right. Minalia Moon, Facebook.com/overthemoonepam. Let's see. If a photographer is taking a photo of you and you like it, have a card on you with your information so it's easier to tag you. That's something that a lot of people in the con circles are doing now. They're carrying around business cards, especially business cards, and I mentioned this before, cards with your picture on it, so people can remember who you are, and this way you can network afterwards, and if they have a fan page or something like that, you can find your pictures. Makes it so much easier. Stacey Hokett, let's see, SGH Photo Art, an absolutely amazing artist. The best thing a costumer can do is always have the pose they like best ready to go and be understanding of the photographer's vision of you as well. And that goes back to having good communication with the photographer. I mean, don't always do the same, and we talked about this last time, don't do the same pose over and over and over. Kind of vary it up. And like Mike said this time. Wait, what?
Shut up. That's my go-to, is I have one pose per character, and that's all I'm ever going to do.
Well, then you need to. I've yelled at you for that period. Beetlejuice. I love it. Get something else.
No.
Okay, Justin Renz with Ethereal Vision Studio. Let's see. Please have more than one pose for your character. Be creative and don't be afraid to ask a photographer to take multiple photos. Like I said, that's a good one, and that's one I need to remember. Someone will come up and take one shot. And I'm always afraid because I'm afraid of being disrespectful. I don't want to ask a photographer to take my picture. I feel weird doing that. That's like asking a guy to buy you a drink. That's not my thing. But apparently it's not frowned upon, so that's just my personal thing. Ask a photographer to take multiple photos. If you want to get particular sides of you, or you in a particular situation with another character, for example, or in a different setting. Apparently don't be afraid to do that. Michael Gavin with the Paranormal Paparazzi. Again, and these are for private shoots, and that's the whole thing. A lot of these photographers will be doing private shoots. Randy Pence that asked this question is with Geek World Order, and I know he'll probably be doing them as well. Be on time and communicate well. If doing a set shoot, discuss expectations ahead of time and ensure you have all needs met, makeup, props, etc. It all comes down with a lot of these is communication. So that's what I recommend. I mean, I like doing shoots at Spooky. I love getting into character and working with the photographers, and it really is a matter of communication. But absolutely, get those business cards, exchange business cards so you can track on Facebook, because that's one of the biggest things after the con is trying to track down all those photos of you. Having cards makes it so much easier. Wait, Patrick, what do you got here?
This is my business
card. Your business? Oh, beautiful. Yeah, see, he's got his picture on it and everything.
Awesome.
This way, and on the back, I have my podcast.
Yes, come get some.
Yeah, they're real simple, real basic, and yeah, it does take too much.
But it's memorable.
Yeah, overnight prints you can crank out 1,000 for you for like $50, something like that,
Oh yeah, absolutely. John, do you have anything to say about photographers and whatnot, or is that not a thing of yours?
I've actually never had a photo shoot with a photographer one-on-one. I can agree that if you're going to do it, know what you're going to do ahead of time and have multiple poses. I have probably one pose per character I do, and that's all you're going to get out of me, so I don't do professional shoots. I have Beetlejuice, I have Carrie, I have Riddler. All of them have exactly one pose, and it's easy, and I like it.
It's so difficult, I swear. Hey, now, Robby, you've actually shot with Svein.
I did, and I was going to say just how amazing he is. I'm such a fan of his. He's so talented, and he's really professional, and I like how assertive he is, and he makes people do what they should be doing already, which is great. And he's really good at posing you.
Yeah.
Whenever you see any kind of photography that he does, you can see that he just knows what he's doing. I mean, he's really amazing.
Yeah, trust your photographer until they give you a reason not to trust them.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
remember,
completely.
theoretically, give them the benefit of the doubt that they know what they're doing. And if they say, look, just tilt your head a little more, then go ahead and do it, by all means, you know?
Yes, exactly. Listen to them. They're the professionals, and that's why they're taking photographs of you. And another thing, if they're taking photographs of you, it means that you probably have a good costume, so kudos.
Yes. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Go ahead.
No, I'm about to say, the only time I've ever had the pros do it is at some of the conventions down south. They're starting to do, like, just basically free cosplay photo shoots. They're getting photographers down there in a neutral background. They just wait in line, and they'll click 3 or 4, and you're good. If they are inspired by you, then they'll spend more time with you or whatever. But, yeah, it is absolutely right to have a pose, and also to have an expression and have a pose. It doesn't necessarily be the same thing, because remember, too, I mean, you're going to want to have, if you're makeup heavy, you want to get a shot of it, just your glowing eye. If you've got a big hulking thing, get ready for that. You can do both. I mean, play around. You are absolutely allowed to be narcissistic in front of the mirror, you know, planning out, oh, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Yeah, by all means, do that. But, and don't take it personally if a photographer, if somebody who looks like a professional photographer doesn't take pictures of you.
Oh yeah, don't be offended by that, because they're like a dime a dozen at Spooky. There's like 50 million of them all over the place.
Yeah,
and,
like I said, I'm a guy who usually does obscure characters. They're never gonna want to take my picture, you know. But there are some guys who will always go up to all the hot girls, and I'm not saying it's any of the ones that Demi's listed or anything else, but there's gonna be
there's creepers, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
There's definitely creepers. And so when it comes to, and we went over this the last time, I mean, when it comes to photographers, if you're not comfortable, then don't do it, you know, because photographers are a dime a dozen. Some of the ones that I just mentioned are fantastic. I personally worked with them. There's Lawrence Munn, there's Jim Dunn, there's Sid Graves, there's Tanner Monroe. There are so many amazing photographers.
Tanner, he's awesome.
Yeah, Tanner's fantastic.
Tanner's awesome, yeah.
And if you're really and if you're really interested in building a portfolio, let this guy take your picture, get their number, and then arrange a photo shoot where you can do multiple of your costumes or whatever in one shoot. Don't feel like, oh, this is my only chance to impress them.
Also, different backgrounds too. You know,
yeah.
To go to different places and do that too.
Yeah, and a lot of them are very willing to not only give you their card, but I mean, like I said, if you want to go somewhere else, as long as you're respectful, you know, and you have a communication with them, you know, like I said, they'll direct you. Keep your lighting in mind, you know, keep your surroundings in mind. You know, your badge, you know, try to put your badge somewhere where you can't really see it with the costume. That kind of ruins it sometimes. But yeah, but by all means, talk to them about private shoots. A lot of these photographers will be doing private shoots as well as, and just because someone's doing a private shoot doesn't mean they're a creeper. I mean, check their credentials, you know, by all means, you know, do background checks.
Definitely check their portfolios online. Find somebody that you really like and their work. Oh wow, this really sends to me. This is the style I want to do.
Exactly, yeah, and that's the whole thing. A lot of these photographers their style is very subjective. They're all very different. You're going to find something that jives with you and your character, and not every photographer is going to do that. So if you find someone whose style you really like and you think really expresses your character well, then by all means go with that. And you know,
I've been tying my shirt and wearing my tight Daisy Dukes, but Sabine still will not offer to take my picture. Because he knows the rest of his models will be so jealous, they will leave.
They will, man. There's going to be cat fights, man. They're going to claw your eyes out. It's going to be ugly.
One of the biggest things that I know, and I was not a part of the last video, is on comfort and safety with the thing.
Can't stress that enough.
And I kind of want to do a quick thing on that.
Go right ahead.
If you're a photographer, one, you should always look through your photographer's portfolio before agreeing to do a photo shoot. If their photo shoots are nothing but scantily clad female models, be aware that's what you're going to get. If your photographer asks you to get to a point where you are uncomfortable, like unbutton a little more, pull a little more cleavage out, bend over a certain way, do not feel afraid or ashamed to say, fuck you, no, and even if that includes ending the session early. There are, for every good photographer there is that we all can admit we love or that we use, there are 100 more photographers that really just want a really good tit shot out of you and are turning it into nothing more than clickbait porn. And if you don't want that, don't accept it.
Absolutely.
No matter how cos famous you think you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, and John's right, and he touched on it. You know, the whole cos fame thing. You think a good picture is going to get you 10,000 likes or whatever on Facebook. Think about it. Is your discomfort really worth that? You know, I mean, and the creepers that not even just, you know, you be uncomfortable taking the picture. Think about the type of messages and comments you're going to get on those pictures. Is it really worth it?
Well,
you know,
yeah, don't be offended when they do. Also.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to be the masturbation fantasy to a bunch of mouth-breathing neckbeards, okay.
By all means, if that's your thing, then hey, vaya con Dios.
Well, and if your version of cos famous, if you see the fact that you're online being famous in whatever costume you've created, is it because you had a great costume and you looked like the character, or is it because I think I saw your areola in this photo?
And that's a big one. That is an absolute big one that a lot of people confuse.
Just because a picture is shared doesn't mean it's for all the good reasons.
And
Blue waffle.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Blue waffle.
Blue waffle.
I'm wearing my
I still have more of their hats. Oh, are you? Oh, that's awesome.
Debbie's husband makes the best blue waffles.
Yes, he does. Those are awesome.
Ew. Ew.
I'm refraining from comment.
It was like moist and sugary. It was good.
Oh, moist.
I need an adult. Okay, that's pretty much how I wanted to wrap up this one here. I mean, I think we've covered everything when it comes to costuming with Spooky. If it wasn't covered in this episode, it was likely covered in the last one. So this is where I put the link down here again. Also, for costume ideas, that's, you know, Mike asked that one before. I have not one, but 2 videos in the playlist. The first one is 101 horror cosplay ideas that you may not have thought of, and not even just from movies, but we're talking urban literature, urban legends, literature, we're talking, you know, horror comics, we're talking, you know, anime, creepypasta, you know, all over the place. You can get, you know, your ideas from anywhere. That was done in 2012, and then I did the second one, 50 more cosplay horror cosplay ideas, and that's in the playlist as well. So be sure to check that out. And this is where, wait, see, I'm getting bad at this whole point. I can't figure it out. Okay, right up here, there should be a subscribe button. I'm going to stick that up there. So if you want to subscribe and know when these videos are being done, we're going to do the next one next week, and I think we're probably either going to touch on. We'll probably do the guests next time. We'll end up a whole episode on all the guests, and we get to talk about that stuff. So, is there anything in closing that any of you would like to say or offer or give to our audience, possibly?
Have fun. That's what this is all about. Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
Oh, God, that's so important.
Jesus.
Oh, actually.
People forget with all the stress and all that. It's, you know what? It's that's what you're there for, to have fun. So, and be courteous and respectful.
Okay, and before we close, actually, hang on a second. We did get, and speaking of Tanner, who apparently was watching, love you, Tanner.
Ah.
He just asked a question.
Mohawk Crew.
Mohawk Crew, yes. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, everyone. First-time listener, first-time caller. How much money does someone need to spend on a great costume? Thanks for the love, by the way.
Ooh.
That's
Go ahead, John. Oh, John, go ahead. John was like, oh, Mr. Kata, Mr. Kata.
Because we were I was just thinking about makeup.
Yes.
We do all of our costumes guerrilla style. I know Patty talked about it in terms of going to thrift stores, buying online when it's cheap. Do not be afraid to go completely cheap on what you do. I've seen Tanner, for example, has an amazing Ghostbusters logo.
Oh, yeah.
Is, I think, duct tape and pool noodles, and it's amazing.
Amazing! It is.
It's jaw-droppingly simple.
Oh, he's that guy? He is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
you do good stuff,
so
Tanner.
simple, but it's amazingly clever. If you want good zombie makeup and you don't want to spend a lot of money on liquid latex and prosthetics, good solution, sand and oatmeal. Not even lying.
Oh, yeah.
Oatmeal with
I've been
latex.
using...
Elmer's glue.
I've been using
Elmer's
oatmeal.
works beautifully.
Don, shut up. Let Patrick talk.
No, I was saying, I've been using oatmeal for years. I use oatmeal when I do Two-Face from Batman. I used to use liquid
Nice.
latex. I run it on, then I smear some oatmeal on, then I let it sit, then I do it again, a couple applications, then I put a layer of color through, then I smear some red or green, depending if I'm doing cinematic or comic book version, and voila. Oatmeal is fantastic for
Absolutely.
rotting or scarred or any type of effect you might want.
One of the biggest secrets they don't tell you is that the zombies in The Walking Dead that everyone wants to emulate and they spend hundreds of dollars on prosthetics, most of their basic zombie background character makeup is oatmeal and sand. And if you watch, they'll even tell you, grind up oatmeal and smear it in the latex, and it creates amazing texture. Key is grind it up first. You don't want giant clumps of oatmeal because it looks like oatmeal.
But sometimes you
Smash
do,
it.
though, depending.
Depending on the costume.
Yeah.
Right, depending.
Same with makeup. Ben Nye is my go-to makeup. But I'm also not an idiot. If I need to do Ben Nye white with basic eyeshadow, I go to Walmart and buy the dollar eyeshadow that goes over just fine. We do guerrilla style. We do amazing costumes for an affordability because this isn't my money. This isn't where I make my income. I'm a human. I've got to buy all this ugly shit behind you.
It could be a very expensive hobby, so
Yes.
yeah. And we can all attest to that. I mean, we've all like had that one moment where we spent way too much on something, and it was like, oh, I better not do this again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, true,
Okay.
true that. Yeah, like the cost is the cost is your passion. How much your passion is. You know, how much how far of the quality are you willing to go where you say yourself, this works for me. And it's okay to say
Also,
this works for me, you know, and then some other people are like, I moderated a Doctor Who cosplay a panel a while ago, and there was a kid in the audience, a younger guy, who was just like, well, I don't see what the big deal is. I got this costume for $20 on Amazon, and it was 11th Doctor costume with a collapsible foam rubber fez. And I didn't want to make a fool of this kid. I was just, but I literally said, and you know what? That works for you, and that's awesome. But remember, there are some people who their fez they have frozen Doctor Who in high definition and counted the amount of individual strands of tassels on the top of his head because it's
I actually know that person, but
yes, it's got to be that accurate for them. So it's all about
I mean, I know someone and Patrick, Captain Jack Sparrow. I know a Captain Jack Sparrow that actually, and I'm sorry for calling you out, and I'm not going to say your name, but he does Captain Jack Sparrow. He's gone so far, and there are a lot of costumers that are like this, they're so into detail. He took screen caps of like some leaked images from Pirates of the Caribbean 5, went so far as to count the beads in his hair and the specific types of beads. And like I said, so it's like, and they're different in each movie. So each Pirates of the Caribbean, there's a different number and different types of beads. So he'll go into the beads and the markings on his arm. I mean, and it's incredibly intricate, and he'll spend God knows how much money to get specific screen accurate parts. So yeah, like Patrick said, there is the guy that's going to spend $20 on Amazon costume, and that's great for you, and that's awesome. And if you're doing this for you, as we keep saying over and over and over, then you're not going to care what anybody else thinks. We'll sit there and we'll go, with He-Man walking in, and we're like, but if you're having a good time, who cares? So it really is up to you. I mean, if you don't have the budget, which a lot of us don't, then you know what? Have a good time with it. Get creative.
And try to learn how to do things also yourself. If you can. I mean, if you can follow instructions, there's YouTube videos
so many
for absolutely
tutorial videos.
Everything. You can. I mean, tutorial your ass off.
And that goes back. Go ahead. I was about to say, Debbie, it goes back to what you said earlier about spooky in general. And a final thought. My whole thing is this: I'm really not a horror movie fan. I like the classic horror stuff. I'm more of a fan of the goofy, like horror host. Hey, you kids, we got the cockroach that ate Cincinnati, and it's scary. I'm into that goofiness side. I'm not a gore hound. I don't dislike it, but But the cool thing is that Spooky Empire is the most relaxed and cool and amazing 3-day party, and that's why I always look forward to Spooky and Mayhem, because it's 2.5 days of everybody just chilling. You can start up a conversation with somebody right next to you about any reason, and everybody's cool. You don't see that affability and camaraderie
Anywhere.
at the regular conventions.
No, you don't.
You just don't.
No,
Yeah,
you
everybody's
don't.
in there because everybody's in their own little fandoms as it is. You don't see the anime kids talking to the comic book guys or everything else, but everybody's in everything's in the greater genre family. So there's a familiarity and and above and beyond all else, if you see somebody with a cool costume, say, "Dude, great costume." Oh, it's
absolutely. Please compliment people that the people whose costumes you enjoy.
You don't have to get with it. Just when you're walking by, it's just like, oh, and by all means too. And if it's something niche that you recognize, say, "Oh, wow, that's great! I remember that episode. Awesome!" Put that karma out there. Put
Absolutely.
that karma out there. It's just
Awesome.
And I think that's actually the perfect. I'm so afraid of running long here, but that's actually the perfect way to end this episode. But I mean, I hope we've covered everything that you guys have wanted to know about costuming. Like I said, watch the last episode, watch this episode, and if it didn't answer your question, you know what? Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments, and one of us will absolutely answer you. On that note, we are going to say goodnight to Sexy Kitty, aren't we?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. I just needed to one more shot of Sexy Kitty there, and of course, and then good night to Robby, and good night to Satan. And Robby, I didn't spend as much time on you because you're not as sexy as Sexy Kitty or Satan. I'm sorry. It's hard to compare.
But I had boobs.
We'll see you next time.
But we're not seeing that. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, 10,000 likes on your fan page. There you go.
Oh my God.
We'll see you next.
Yeah, and thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciated all the questions you asked us, and join us next week when we'll be talking about all the guests. And like I said, spookyempire.com. See you guys next time.